Well, here we have the latest gushing of Western media over this. New Zealand reporter in Afghanistan questions Taliban leaders about women's rights. What assurances can you give them? I'm Grid 7, and let's get into this article that just has so many problems. In a room full of men, at a time when women are scared for their lives, a female journalist from New Zealand asked the Taliban leaders a question that had been front of mind for many in recent days. What assurances can you give women and girls that their rights can be protected? Hint, none. That's really what it is, but we'll get into this. Charlotte Bellis worked for the Al Jazeera and posed for the first question to the militant group's leaders at the press conference in Kabul. I want to talk to you about women's rights and girls' rights, she said. There's a lot of concern about whether women will be allowed to work, if girls will still go to school. What assurances can you give to women what assurances can you give to women and girls that their rights can be protected? This was the first press conference Taliban had held in 20 years, and Bellis was only one of 3 women to attend, although many female journalists from Afghanistan and around the world are still stationed in Kabul. Sakina Amari, a reporter from the local media outlet, was also in attendance. Since the Taliban took over Kabul, causing thousands to flee the capital, including the president, Ashraf Ghani, the question of how women would be treated lingered. Under previous Taliban rule, women weren't allowed to be educated or employed. They were forced to wear burqas in public and could only leave home if accompanied by a man. Personally, I fully expect all that to come back into play no matter what they just said here. But the group claimed this rule would be different. Spokesman Zabalhullah Majaha, or whatever, don't care, told Ballas, who was wearing a hijab, right here, if these women really want to do anything, stop catering to them. We bend over backwards when we go over there, and when they come over here, we bend over backwards over here as well. The only thing we ever do is bend over backwards for these these terrorists. But don't worry, the left tells you the real terrorists are white conservative men. Women who are going to be this Mahid or whatever replies, women are going to be very active in the society, but within the frameworks of Islam. Women are a key part of society, and we are guaranteeing all their rights within the limits of Islam. Right there's the key words right there, within the limits of Islam. Hate to tell you this, but all the stuff that the Taliban did beforehand was what they thought was within the limits of Islam. That's why all this is really just, they're blowing sunshine up their asses. Majid said earlier in the press conference that the issues of women was very important, and the group referred to as Islamic Emirate of Afghanistan was committed to the rights of women within the framework of Sharia. The previous rules were also enforced under a strict version of Sharia law. Guess what? That's coming back. Our sisters, our men have the same rights. He contradicts himself right here. They will be able to benefit from their rights. They can have activities in different sectors. That's not equal. And different areas on the basis of our rules and regulations, educational, health, and other areas. And not like this, no, they're going to be working with us shoulder to shoulder with each, so long as they're in their own little sector over here. The international community, if they have any concerns, we would like to ensure them there's not going to be any discrimination against women. You already said there was up here. But of course, within the frameworks of what we have, he's already telling you, piss off. We're going to do it our way. Our women are Muslim. They will be happy to be living within the frameworks of Sharia. This was one of the areas Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern had highlighted in her address to the situation in Afghanistan earlier this week. We want to see women and girls being able to access work and education. He said, no, as long as they're in their area. These are the things that are traditionally that have been available to them when there has been governance by the Taliban. When asked if women could continue to work with the media organizations, Majid didn't give a straightforward answer, because he already knows that the answer is no. He instead said to wait and see what the future government said on the topic. And here's the thing. He reiterated the laws would be that everyone would be able to work, but this would be within the framework of Islamic Sharia laws. When is the left going to figure out that Islamic Sharia laws is anything but equal to women? I mean, they're not going to do it. It goes, already female journalists were on the run and in hiding for fear of being tracked down and killed. Burqas were reluctantly returning to the streets as women, many who grew up with no memory or experience with the oppressive restrictions enforced on women, began to make adjustments under Taliban rule. I mean, could you imagine the outrage in the U.S. by feminists if we suddenly said women have to cover their faces? Feminists would go completely ballistic, but they believe this. That they believe the Taliban, we're going to do it differently. Yeah, right. And in recent weeks, reports had emerged of girls as young as 10 being taken from their homes and handed to commanders as wives. Single women also being forced to marry fighters, which is what happened during the group's previous rule. And then just a little bit about the person right there. If these feminists and Western idiots actually think the Taliban is going to change, they're morons. And here's the real question. If they don't, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? What's the world going to do if they decide to go back to how they were? I'll really tell you right here. Absolutely fucking nothing. The world can't do a damn thing. Because the left has ruined what could have happened. They ruined 20 years by attacking the U.S. instead of really trying to change here. Now, that's my thought. Let me know what you think. I'm on Rumble. Come on over there. Also on YouTube. And I'll see you next video.